Unscripted.
Even though we're probably close to this, 6-month mark since these new consoles have released, we still keep seeing PlayStation 5 versions of games outperform Xbox Series X versions of games. Folks, where are them tools at? Where are these deltas with 40 to 50 better frames per second? Simple math that. I would love the answers to these questions and more, but unfortunately, none of these people have the guts or the gall to invite me on their shows to totally debunk them and make them look like jackasses, because that's what they are. And obviously, with the amount of nonsense that we're seeing, that's clearly what all they'll ever be, right? Like, I mean, again, I consider myself to be a hell of a podcaster, just off the cuff. And I think that scares a lot of people, because a lot of other people rely on writing down content and things like that. I just, that's not my style. But with that being said, it looks like we've got some interesting results between a face-off with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And again, I love seeing this, because everybody's going to look for some kind of excuse. It's a glitch, it's a bug, it's this. You guys ever notice that? Whenever Xbox loses to something, there's some kind of excuse. There's some kind of bug. There's some kind of something. We need the tools. We need this. Listen, trust me, I was an Xbox fanboy. I was. You know what I mean? I was a huge Xbox fanboy that obviously, I loved Xbox. I thought that they could do no wrong. I fell for the Phil Spencer stuff, the Phil Spencer Kool-Aid. I was hyping, wait for DX12, wait for E3, wait for games, wait for, now it's wait for tools. Like, bottom line is, Xbox is the waiting machine. They basically make you wait for everything and never give you anything that you actually want. Like I said, though, invitations open. I'll debate anybody, any Xbox fan, whatever. You'll lose, you'll look foolish. So keep that in mind as well. So I understand why I haven't got any invites or any kind of traction, though. But I'm surprised some of the fanboys don't run with this a little bit, just to kind of get the news out there. Hey, Crapgamer is willing and open and trying to get something going, but, nobody wants to get into that. But let's get into this, because why is the PlayStation 5 still consistently outperforming the Xbox Series X? That's very interesting and very intriguing indeed. We're going to dive into that, but let's take care of this first. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It's free for you guys to do, and it means everything to me. Thank you guys so much for always rocking out with me and just being so amazing. You guys are really one of a kind. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. Now, when it comes to these type of face-offs, it's been very interesting, because we were told leading up to a year, and you guys all know who was the ones running with this nonsense. We heard everything from PS5 only had 12 gigs of memory to RDNA 1 to, all kinds of nonsense. We even heard stuff saying that the PlayStation 5 had trouble doing 4K 60 and all this kind of stuff, and obviously those were just people trying to, negate the fanboy wars or the console wars or whatever. With that being said, why is the PlayStation 5 doing so much better than the Xbox Series X? So, no doubt, Digital Foundry did, of course, what they do best, and they tested Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, 4K 60 frames per second tested on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, although, of course, the upgrade isn't all it should be, especially if you're an Xbox owner, and there's literally no boost for Series S. So, with the arrival of new wave of consoles, they didn't have time to fully check Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered when it launched, but the Criterion Masterpiece is especially deserving of their focus now, as support has been added for the next-gen consoles, opening the door to a 4K experience running 60 frames per second. More than that, in the wake of the news that Criterion's new Need for Speed title has been delayed, it's also an opportunity to reflect on an astonishing run of iconic racing games from the developers. So, this was very, very interesting. Hot Pursuit was a 30 frames per second title in an era where 60 frames per second was Criterion's hallmark. So maybe it's actually Burnout Paradise that's peak Criterion, but one thing is for sure, they did run these things comparison side by side, and very interesting to see what actually happened. Yeah, very incredible stuff. On PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, they had the option to improve frame rates with the choice offered of 4K 30 or 1080p 60. The recent upgrade isn't actually a patch specifically targeting new machines. A new maximum quality mode simply removes the frame rate cap from existing Pro and 1 versions, allowing the inherent backwards compatibility support in the brand new machines to kick in, propelling us to 60 frames per second. So yes, the modes targeting PS5 and Series X are also available on last-gen enhanced machines too. It's not so much backwards compatibility plus as more of a simple mechanism to allow the existing game to get a measurable performance boost without the potential requirement again, and the loss and stuff like that. So this is really cool. Bad news for Series S, it's anchored down by the Xbox One S. There are no extra modes added, so 1080p 30 is the best you're going to get, despite delivering a relatively huge increase in GPU power. Now, here's what's quite interesting. The new maximum mode sees PS4 Pro at 4K unlocked, typically running in the mid-40s, while Xbox One X by default is within touching distance of 4K 60 in many scenarios. But what stands out in the performance analysis that running unlocked Pro and the One X are perhaps much closer in output than the spec differential between the two systems would suggest. In theory, moving the same code to PS5 and Xbox Series X should deliver a foregone conclusion then, with a 2x GPU performance minimum. Both should lock at 4K 60. But there's the problem, folks. The PlayStation 5 is punching above its weight. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X is struggling to survive, struggling to keep up. It can't keep up with those 60 frames. Why, oh why can't the Xbox Series X keep those 60 frames? I'll never know. Phil Spencer, why does it not keep 60 frames? So why is the Xbox version struggling so much? It's kind of crazy to really understand why that's the case here. Again, this is something that's very, very interesting to say the least. So the performance drop in the low 40s and indeed 30s on Xbox, it seems to be a specific area as well. But they also say it's a clear problem on the Xbox side, and it does seem to be a GPU issue, as the 1080-60 mode is still available and works fine. So Hot Pursuit Remastered does seem to be based primarily on the PC original, which was exceptionally well put together and back in the day. So again, if you were kind of wondering where this particular instance lies, then you will notice that there is a huge difference in the performance, and the performance gap itself is very much one that is seeing a huge benefit for the PlayStation 5, which is running a solid 60 frames per second in particular here, versus the Xbox Series X, which is down to like 42 frames per second. This is a huge gulf, especially given the amount of information that we were told, you know, about what's kind of going on and the future of gaming in general with these two platforms. Again, we're seeing a lot of performance in general differences between the two. Even when might be a slight edge in resolution for Xbox, it seems like the performance is almost always in favor of PlayStation 5. And I ask time and time again, who's to blame for this? Who do we blame for getting our expectations up for getting this stuff out there, right? Who is to blame? Do we blame Phil Spencer? Do we blame Microsoft for getting everybody hyped up and talking about frame rate? Do we blame the YouTubers and the influencers who kept talking up deltas and 60 frames and how frames were going to be so much better all the time and how the Xbox Series X clearly was the better machine? Who do we blame for this, right? Like that's the main question I would love to know the answer to. You know, for me personally, I think that it really kind of depends on who you kind of look at, who you ask. I think it's a mix of everybody, because everybody was getting everybody else's hypes up and hopes up for this kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, we didn't really see anything come from this. This is a big problem for Microsoft going forward, because how long can we keep saying it's tools, it's this, it's that, it's a bug, it's a glitch, it's an issue? You know what I mean? When you're 5 months, 6 months, a year down the road, are we going to still be saying that? Like, it's getting to the point of tedium and redundant, to say the least. And I think that a lot of people that hate on me and dislike me, realistically, you should absolutely really be hating on the people that got your hypes up in the first place. I think this is a very, very interesting thing, and something that is going to be a very big issue for people going forward, and for Microsoft. Like, they're going to have to answer to this very, very soon. in my opinion anyway. I mean, of course I could be wrong, but I would love your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'm going to link this down in the description below. You all can check it out. Let me know what you think. Please sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Take care of each other. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. We all, stick together and we can just have a good time gaming and stuff like that. Thank you for watching one of my videos. Have a great evening. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crap Gamer out.
Unscripted.